is letter 717. Pliny writes to Keller, his friend. Pliny has been criticized for reading speeches out loud before he delivers them, and even after he delivers them, as a matter of fact. And so this is his answer to the criticism. Each, and to his own, has a reason for reading out loud. For me, what often already I have said, so that I am warned if there's any mistake, as certainly there is a mistake. I am all the more amazed by this because you write that there have been certain ones who complain because I read my speeches out loud at all, unless in truth they think these alone are not to be corrected. From whom I freely ask why they concede, if however they do concede, that history ought to be read out loud. History which is not for show, but for loyal representation and truth it is put together. Why tragedy ought to be read out loud, which is put together not for an auditorium, but for a scene and actors? Why lyric poetry, which demands not a reader, but a chorus and a lyre? But the reading out loud of these is already accepted by practice. Therefore, isn't he to be blamed who began this? Although both certain of our people and the Greeks also read their speeches. However, it is silly to read aloud what you've already said. Even if all the same things, if to all the same people, if you read it out loud right away. If in truth you change many things, you alter many things, if you add certain new ones, certain the same ones, but after time, why is it less viable a cause for reading out loud what you have said than of editing it? But it is difficult that a speech, while it is read out loud, can satisfy. Already, this pertains to the work of the one reading out loud, not to the reason for not reading aloud. In truth, I do not wish to be praised while I read out loud, but while I am read. And so, I omit no kind of changing. When first I to myself go over what I have written. Then I read to 2 or to 3 people. Soon I hand it over to be annotated. Soon I hand it over to others to be annotated. The notes of those, if I am in doubt, I think over again with one or another person. Last, I read out loud to many. And whatever you believe me, I then change most harshly, for I concentrate so much so diligently as nervously. Respect, shame, fear, judge best. Consider in this way this to such an extent. Is it not the case, if I am about to speak with someone, however intelligent, nevertheless it's one person. Sorry, if you are about to speak, not if you are about to speak. You are less moved than if you are about to speak with many, even uneducated. Is it not the case when you rise to plead in court, then you yourself especially distrust yourself? Then not very many changes, I say, but all changes you want. And as it is, if the scene and the court area is wider and more diffuse, for we respect them, also the ones that are dirty and dressed darkly. Is it not the case, if you think the first things, whatever they are to be faulted, you become weak and you fall down? I believe, since it is in number itself, there is a certain great and collected wisdom. And to each individual, there is a little bit of wisdom. To all together, very much. And so, Pomponius Secundus, that writer of tragedy, if anything, one of his friends thought should be lifted out, he himself thought should be kept in, he was accustomed to say, "I call to the people." And in this way, either by the silent or assent of the people, he either followed his own opinion or he followed the opinion of his friend. He gave so much to the people, right or wrong, not as it is with me. I am accustomed to call not all the people, but certain chosen ones, whom I look to, whom I believe, who finally, both as individuals I respect and as not individuals but as a group I fear. For what Marcus Cicero feels about his pen, I feel about fear. It is fear. Fear is the toughest corrector. It is this itself which we are thinking of, we about to recite. This corrects us. This corrects when we enter the auditorium. It corrects as we pale, we tremble, we look around. Therefore, it does not pain me that I use as much as possible of my custom. To such an extent, I am not deterred by the words of those ones as when I ask you and you show me something which I should add. Nothing is enough for my concern for my work. I think how great it is to give something into the hands of the people. And I am not able to persuade myself that it is not to be done with many and often. That which you should wish to please both always and everyone. Goodbye. That time I did it really well. That time it went